What's up, everybody? Good morning, good afternoon, good night. Welcome to the BitLab Academy daily stream. I hope you're doing well. I hope you're feeling well. We got to talk about these markets. Let's go ahead and dive right on into it. First up, we got to pay attention to this gap that we already tapped right into the middle of. I just want you to notice that on this previous gap we had from all the way back here, March 22nd, we came back and filled about half of it. We didn't get all the way down. Let's turn off the indicators and just take a look at this. We did not get all the way down into filling this entire gap, but that satisfied this, at least for now. Maybe we actually fill this and come down and fill this. Maybe we're going to launch up in a way. We've got to talk about some very important things today. We have some key charts we're going to be looking at that it's going to give us an indication about what direction the market is going. So right now, as we get this started, every single one of you, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, ding the bell. We are just been rocketing to the upside with subscribers in this last few weeks, and I just want to say how much I love and appreciate each and every one of you. We're about to break 20,000. And we launched this, at the end of January of last year, so a little bit over a year, and we're already hitting up to that $20,000 mark. So I just want to say, if you are new here, welcome to the family. Welcome to the community. If you don't know who I am, that's okay. I want to know who you are, and I hope you guys learn who I am. My name is Kelly Kellum. Welcome to the BitLab Academy. Let's go ahead and talk about what we got to talk about today. We got some big things lined up for this week as well. We've got an incredible deal that we're going to be offering to everybody, old members and new members, people that haven't signed up. We've got an incredible promotion that we're going to be launching here in a matter of days. So I would just say, if you're thinking about getting involved with BitLab, I would say hold off for a second, because we have the best deal that we've ever done. It's going to be tied to the halving. So let's just think about what that may mean. And it's going to be a lifetime sort of deal. So everybody, if you haven't yet, again, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. Let's talk about what we got to talk about today. Let's jump into the charts, and shout out to everybody here. Before we get going, I want to see every member that's in the chat right now. There's so many green names. There's so many BitLab badges in there. Your beakers are filling up. Shout out to each and every one of you. You have no idea how much love and support that actually offers this BitLab channel and keeps us going, because it's not just me up here talking. We have a whole team of people that are involved with this, and you all support this channel more than you know, and it really does make a big difference when you guys super chat and when you guys become a member. And I just want to say I appreciate you. If you're a member, drop some emojis in the live chat right now. And if you're not a member, what are you doing? Look down below the video. If it doesn't say subscribed, hit subscribed. And if you want to join, you can join for, I think it's like $4.99 a month or something like that. You get the emojis, and I'm going to be sharing a lot more content. You're going to be having access to all the BitLab premium member streams, because we're going to start streaming them all through the BitLab YouTube. And you'll only get that link, and you only get access if you are a BitLab member here on YouTube or in the premium Discord. So big love to everybody. Let's talk about what we got to talk about. So this is the CME Futures chart. This is what we're looking at right here. We have had the price action dip down and try to close this gap. Some people say the gap's closed. Well, I mean, the gap goes all the way down to where this box is, down here at the 68.4 level. Are we going to get further downside? Well, let's talk about it. Looking at what we're looking at on the traditional charts, I mean, let's actually come down here on the 15-minute chart and just notice the price action, as we talked about yesterday here on the channel. The price action came down and did test this previous resistance, tried to flip it to support, but you see this price action as it came up, found a little bit of resistance at these lows right here. Look at that. Came right down, and this is your sort of deciding factor at this point. This will be an indication that when you see this type of stuff, store this in your memory bank, because sometimes this will bounce and people say, oh, it's going up, I'm going to 100x long here because it's about to rocket higher because it confirmed this. Well, a lot of times we can see fake outs in these markets, and more often in the crypto market, and the smaller down market cap size you go, the more often you'll see fake outs. But Bitcoin, you have to realize, is a meme coin against huge assets like Facebook and Apple and NVDA. The market cap feels big, but it's so much smaller in terms of also how it operates and how much more volatile it can be over time. So when we see the price action coming down and bouncing, this is that perfect metric. Let's actually come right here. Let me just type in Kelly Kellum market cycle cheat sheet, and you can all save this on your computer. I think this is it right here. Yes, right here. So this is what we're looking for right here. You see how the price action comes up to resistance, breaks through, comes down, tests, and then moves. This is a confirmed zone that you really want to be buying in for basically a risk-adjusted entry that has a strong confirmation of likelihood of price action continuing to the upside. As you can see, this bounce came up and cleared this previous high. So if we come back over to this chart right here, this bounce, did this bounce make it up and clear the previous high? Came down, this would be clearing the previous high right here. It did not do that. It bounced and found resistance nearly immediately on these little range lows right here, showing, giving indication right in here that this was a fake out and telegraphing it was likely going to be moving to the downside. How do we know that? The price action came down here, it bounced, but we still see negative money flow. We see even right, let's actually come right here, option V, actually come here, option right here, option V. So right here, this price action is coming up, and as the price action is progressing along, this is 15-minute candles. We're seeing the RSI starting to get weakened. We're seeing the stochastic starting to get weakened. We see the money flow here on the bottom is still negative, indicating weakness coming up into a level that it's already rejected from once, rejected from twice. And so, hey, you're starting to see a confirmation of likely bearishness here rather than a bullish confirmation of continuation. So rather than just saying, well, I'm going to take a move and jump at every single impulse that the market makes, that's what sets you up for failure in this market. Now, yesterday, I talked about if we lose this level, I didn't change anything on this chart. I talked about if we lose this level, price action will likely come down and test somewhere in this box, maybe even testing down into these highs here. And look at where the price action is right now. It came down, bounced a little bit above this, came back down and bounced right on this line. I'm telling you, if you all are tuned in here on this channel on a daily basis, you are getting, I mean, the roadmaps I've been laying out, the price action has been following it as if I have some connection to the market makers. Now, that's not always going to be the case. Sometimes I'll lay out something and it will play completely opposite. This is why we always have to hedge ourselves and looking at opportunities in both directions on price action. So with that being said, what happens if we lose this? And what was I talking about in the title of this stream and in the thumbnail of the stream? Tomorrow. Tomorrow is a big day. So there can be a lot of chop between now and tomorrow and even following tomorrow, but there's a likelihood that we get a large move tomorrow, and it could be up and it could be down. So let's talk about that, but let's set the stage a little bit, and then we'll come back and we'll dive in to some of the TA on here and giving you a better roadmap of what's going on. First off, let's go ahead over here, look at the market cap list right here. Bitcoin still up here, 1.35, 1.34, 36 trillion dollars. Yes, that's right. I said it, trillion. Bitcoin doing well. Let's accept the cookies on here because I like coin market cap. Ethereum pushing up around 422. We got Tether, $107 billion in Tether out there, 86 billion. And I think everybody's noticed at this point, Toncoin flipped Cardano. And I want you all to realize right now what this means. I'm not saying one's better, one's worse, any of this. Let's talk about it in the form of opportunity that may be presenting itself. We're seeing a lot of FUD right now on Cardano. Cardano has been steady with developments. Cardano has a very strong community. And I think I think it's getting a little bit of that old guard sort of view on it right now where it's not the new sexy thing. So some of that new capital flow that's coming in the market is going into more risky plays, smaller market cap plays, or plays that are like Solana and now Toncoin here that have a huge amount of market awareness activity in terms of content and talking points from different influencers and such that is driving some money to those projects. Now, Cardano is kind of sitting and people feel like it's asleep at the wheel right now, but that may be creating an opportunity for when it does explode, because we have seen it in the past do exactly what it is doing right now. So let's look at this as an opportunity that, hey, we still have Cardano under 60 cents. So when this thing starts ripping, you know, I expect this likely to be making its way somewhere up here in the, I don't know, top 5, but somewhere here above where it is now, somewhere in this range up in here. So let's be patient with it. With same thing happened when we were talking about Chainlink. where Chainlink was consolidating for 530 plus days. And everybody thought is like, this is the most boring thing ever. And then it led the altcoin rally at the beginning of this huge run that we saw in the altcoin market in the last 6 months. So the same thing can be at play here for Cardano. So this is also why it feels good to have a little bit of diversification in the portfolio. Cardano's not moving, giving you more opportunity to buy, but the other coins that you're holding are doing quite well. Now let's come over here and look at our watch list. Let's actually go to the portfolio. Oh, I'm not signed in. Give me 1 second. I'm just going to sign in real quick. Why am I not signed in? I don't know. There we go. Signed in. So looking here at the portfolio, here we go. And I made a move yesterday. I sold my SEI. I talked about it in the Discord yesterday. I let everybody know the second I did it. I sold my SEI and swapped that for Injective, INJ. In addition to that, I took some profits on Velodrome because Velodrome was up somewhat. I left basically the rest in there, but I took $1,200 profits. It's all just free money. And I rolled that into Injective as well. So now we've got 159, almost 160 Injective. And the reason I did that was because SEI has so much fewer. If we come down here, look at SEI. SEI has so many fewer coins available. So they have a 10 billion, see this 10 billion total supply. Only 2.67 of these are out. So basically, you know, about, was that 75% of them still need to be released. Now, when you come back over here and you look at Injective, let's go back to Watchlist, portfolio. Now, if you look at Injective, very similar. They're obviously different chains, but very similar in the DeFi realm, layer one, very fast, strong partnerships. But when you look at Injective, we can see there's 100 million Injective and 93.4 million of these are out. So essentially, if you do the math on this, this is 93.4% of these coins are already out. So you're not going to be having price suppression happen or delusion of value as coins get released on the market like you will in SEI. So I figure I had so many different layer ones, I might as well, and I've wanted Injective for a while. I decided just to make that move, also give a little bit more stability to the portfolio that I had because I moved out of some of those, the Ethereum positions I had, took on more risk, but I still wanted to be balanced risk. So I rotated that SEI to Injective. Now, when we come over here, and how many of you all hold Injective? How many of you all, what, if I had to add one coin to my portfolio tomorrow, what coin would you suggest that, you know, how come he doesn't have that in there? Now, I don't have Solana, which some people think is blasphemy, but there's only so many coins you can have. I may rotate something into Chainlink and Cardano, but I'll be keeping everybody updated in the Discord. But let's go ahead and go through some of these things that we want to talk about here. This is very important. This correlation is drawing some eyes to it. And it says right here, there appears to be a clear correlation between Bitcoin ETF inflows and Bitcoin price. And we can see right here, this is, maybe it's hard to decipher, but what you can see is price action up, price action down, price action, right? So let's look at the inflows versus outflows, the net out of all of them, including Grayscale, including BlackRock, including Fidelity, all of them. When you add or subtract all of them together, the net inflows minus whatever outflows are there, and most of the outflows are coming, not all, but most of the outflows are coming from that rotation out of Grayscale. We can see, look at this, large inflows here. We also see large increases in price. Large outflow here. We also see a pretty significant dip, or, you know, mildly significant dip in price here. Similarly, price action, inflows up, now inflows down, led this move to the downside. So we're going to want to keep an eye on this. It's not going to be a direct one-to-one correlation all the time, but we will want to keep an eye on this because other large players are going to be keeping an eye on this as well. Similarly, we got to talk about this. Yes, this is in the traditional asset space, but we got to talk about NVIDIA. And I see somebody in here said, Dot, I'm actually so interested in a lot of the things that Dot is doing. Throw a one in chat if you want to see me do a standalone Dot video and talk about what's going on with Polkadot, talk about the developments, and also we may be adding this to our portfolio because there's some incredible things going on with Dot, and I do think it's a project people should have in their portfolio as a part of a balanced portfolio. So throw one in chat if you want to see a video on Dot. Now, NVIDIA, look at this topping formation here. This is from Jesse Olson, one of my friends here in the crypto ecosystem. He's been on my podcast a number of times, and he's just one of my favorite people in the space. Really great analyst. And we can see here, look at this triple top here. Boom, boom. And in this case, it's more of a double top. But then what do we see? Double top in formation, a little bit of a breakdown here. Now we have a rejection here at this trend line and it telegraphing to the downside. These are the targets he has as a potential move if this does move to the downside. Now look at how big these moves are. All the way up here, we're up here at the 960 level. Where we're at here on NVIDIA is 835. The next level down is 760. The next level below that, 680. This ends up being pretty significant drops if this were to play out. So we got to keep an eye on this. The reason I'm looking at this is because NVIDIA had a huge part in the sentiment and the capital flow in the crypto ecosystem as it relates to graphics processing and AI. So think render, think fetch, think ocean, think AGIX. Those last three all merging soon. We also have near. We also have a GRT. There's so many different AI or AI adjacent coins out there that may have rode a little bit of the coattails of that positive price action movement, that explosive price action movement. Look, all the way down here, 440, beginning of the year, all the way up to almost $1,000 on NVIDIA, traditional asset. But this drove a lot of that positive capital flow, or at least significantly stimulated it in the crypto sphere. So we're going to want to keep an eye on this. And this is just, I just want to point this out. When you're trading crypto, when you're investing in crypto, you don't only want to look at the specific chart of that asset that you're trading or investing in. There's going to be analogs. There's going to be other things, the context. In this case, we're talking AI, we're talking fetch, we're talking render, we're talking near protocol that rode a little bit of the coattails of that positive sentiment from NVIDIA. And therefore, we can look to something like the NVIDIA chart, because if the NVIDIA chart is breaking down, that may also cause a cascading bearish momentum in price, a bearish shift in price action on those crypto assets that are part of that narrative. Similarly, with Bitcoin, we're looking at the correlation between the S&P 500 or just the stock market in general. Direction, not the exact move, but the direction of these other markets that these can be attached to, the risk on, risk off narrative with particular niches. We don't only want to focus on this specific chart because we can use the tools and we can use the signals from things that we feel like aren't related, but they can give you a suggestion about what the narrative, what the sentiment is going to be that trickles into this asset that you're trading. Use these resources, use things, the context of things outside of the specific asset you're trading, and you will be far more profitable over time. Now, with that being said, let's go ahead and talk about the next chart we got here. Boom. Here we go. NASDAQ, similarly, we were just talking about NVIDIA. NASDAQ also looking like it may be setting up for a bit of a move to the downside. Now, remember, this is all tied to what I was talking about in regards to tomorrow. So, David Middleton said, hey, Kelly, what up with GRT and your GRT bag? You know what? Let's kind of peek in on that. I haven't made any moves on that. If we look at this chart, this is that alt portfolio. I still have it. I haven't moved anything on it. So I still have, let's see, I've got 11,739 GRT. It's just kind of been sitting stagnant. I'm up 92% on this position. Started with about 1,800, I guess, and 1,700. Now I'm up about that same amount of price. It's just one of those coins I'm holding. I think it's going to endure through this bull market. So it's doing well. Now, coming back over to this chart, this NASDAQ chart, there's these targets to the downside. Now I'm setting this up because there's a potential this could be a fake out to the downside and we could go higher. In the event of tomorrow's news, and why is tomorrow so important? Because tomorrow, if we look over here at this calendar, is the core CPI, 8:30 a.m. And why do we care about this? We're trading crypto. This goes back to what I just said a few minutes ago about these things that are outside of your particular assets that can drive and give you indication about where the risk mentality is going to be in markets. The core CPI is essentially going to give us an indication based on what happens around it about what the Fed may likely do in regards to rate cuts. So if we come in very under expectations, and right now it says the month-over-month expectation forecast is 0.3, previous was 0.4. If we come in at 0.3 or below this, that could give an indication for markets about what the Fed may likely do, about when the rate cuts will happen, if they'll happen sooner than expected or later than expected. If it comes much over this, then that could also pose another question. So what we're going to want to watch tomorrow, we see NVIDIA potentially breaking down. We see NASDAQ potentially breaking down. Same thing with the Dow Jones Index looking the same way. This could be a fake out if we get some indication that things are much better or much worse than expected. So let's pay attention to that. That's why tomorrow is going. I think there's going to be maybe a little bit of choppiness between now and then, but I don't think, and I could be wrong, I don't think the big move is going to come today, front running something that could absolutely undo the move. So when we're looking at what's going on here, let's talk about these levels. Stock money lizards. Yeah, I can show you here on my high block as well, but I'm trying to show you that you have opportunities. Even if you don't have subscriptions to everything, if you use crypto Twitter to your advantage, you can follow a good grouping of people that can give you so much alpha and save you a lot of money. And then when you want to go deeper, when you want those pro tools yourself, then we could provide you the links and you can sign up for all these things as well. But we can see right here, here we go, Bitcoin. A quick wick down to 68.7 would grab some liquidity. This is what he's talking about, this high level of color here. And so let's see what this looks like on the chart as we have it right now. So 68, it looks like we kind of moved down into the zone. Was this 68.7? So we did come down and clear this liquidity. You see how this is now blue instead of all these colors? But now we are rotating over a little bit. Let's actually refresh this. Let's see if it is updated since this morning. I'm sure it has. Let's go to 12-hour run. Now we're going to go to max liquidity. Exit. There we go. Now zoom in. So now that level is down here. See this bright color, and it's getting brighter. See how it's getting brighter along the way? Because people are adding and changing positions as time moves along. So we can see right in this zone. This is at 68,100. So let's come back to our chart. Let's go to the BTC one right here, and we can see what these levels were. 68.1. Is that what I just said? 68.1? 68. Yeah, 68,125. That would fully satisfy clearing this gap if we had a washout to the downside. Now, I do want to point out, looking at the Bitcoin chart, we're still in play with this bullish pennant that we have here, or symmetrical triangle. And we talked about yesterday, price action potentially coming down and washing some people out to the upside, coming down, washing people out to the downside, getting people committed short, maybe a wick further down. We could come all the way as low and be incredibly bullish. We could come all the way down here to the 67,100. We can actually here, click here, boom, boom, move this like this. See this, the 67,100, 67,200. This would still be very bullish. We could even potentially get a washout to the downside down to 63. Now, if that were to happen, remember, that would fully satisfy what we just talked about before as well, because we can't ignore the fact that we still have this gap down here. This is down here at 64, all the way down to 64,320. So if we got that move, that washout down here, that would clear not only the gap that just happened Sunday, but also the gap from last week. Those would be both fully filled if this happened. Now, if it does come all the way down here, we have a higher likelihood of potentially even coming down to test this level right here. But we are still incredibly bullish. We're hovering around the previous all-time high, chopping around this, what was this, $64,000 to $74,000. So a $10,000 range feels incredible, feels so big. You don't even think of it as a range because it's so large, right? But it is. If this was on a 4-hour chart or a 1-hour chart and you saw this pattern, you'd say, okay, well, it came bullish into this pattern. It's consolidating on the upper side of this level. If we can hold in this region, the likelihood of this is going to go up is larger than the likelihood of it going down. Now, because of that, there's still opportunity for a wick washout to the downside. 177 watching, 56 likes. Everybody hit the like button, show some love, look down below the video. If it doesn't say subscribed, hop in and join us here. Now, we talked about this level that is directly below us. And I just want to point, by the way, if you're not following me on Twitter, follow me at Kelly Kellum. Make sure you type in correctly. There's a lot of fake scam profiles out there. Make sure you're following the one and only. And make sure you're following BitLab Academy here at Academy BitLab. And I do want to point out, by the way, before we continue, I saw this yesterday and shared it. There's an exploit going around on Telegram. I'm going to share this in the live chat right now. Make sure, go over here, share this, or at least at minimum, if you're on Telegram, you go through these things right here. There's a whole exploit, and it shows you exactly how to go in and disable the auto media downloading, because that could potentially set you up for losing a lot of money that you worked hard for. So get that set up, and then you select media that you want to download. And you should never click on links around something that you're not familiar with what it is. So now, so this is coming back over to these flows, the ETF flows. Getting a little outflow right now. Getting a little bit of questionability, uncertainty at a level. The level is the $70,000 range. We never got a large pullback pre-halving like we have in all previous halvings. So there's still people on the fence because we haven't successfully really cleared this range. There's still people on the fence about, is that halving coming? Sorry, is the halving sell-off coming? And we're also have now the added context of huge capital flow opportunity. It's not a guarantee with these ETFs, with people potentially buying, through these ETFs. But there's also opportunity for either lack of buying. Right now, if there's a lack of buying on on BlackRock and Fidelity and ARK, for instance, not even selling. If there's a lack of buying on those and we still get outflows from Grayscale, those outflows from Grayscale then have that Bitcoin that it represents has to be sold on the market. So there's some questionability about this, and this is why I'm just encouraging people to realize where we're at in this market cycle. If we look at it in relationship to where the halving was, this is the past halving, we have this zone right here that we had right when we were at the previous all-time high. Previous all-time high. Let's go to the daily. Previous all-time high. See this? Boom. Coming across. Where did we consolidate? Right here, and it was about 30 days, a little over 30 days. So just a reminder, where we're at right now, this previous all-time high range, we can actually move this up just a touch. There we go. And when we look at this zoomed in, we understand, here we go, let's pull this across and look at what we're doing. It's almost picture perfect for what we saw in the last cycle. Now, in this case, rather than bumping our head against it, we have overshot it a little bit. Now, that can be explained in a number of different ways, but we don't need an explanation. We can just know that this fractal is looking very similar to what we saw in the previous cycle. There's been a huge amount of inflation, right? So there's stronger buying power, and it's becoming stronger every day in terms of how many dollars you need to use to buy Bitcoin, which in some ways artificially also props up the value of what it looks like Bitcoin is. Same thing with the stock market. Now, in addition to all this, we also have these huge capital inroads coming in, buying Bitcoin. And so there's a lot of speculation, but we're still essentially doing the same thing. We're consolidating at previous all-time high rather than below it, across it. See this back and forth. So, and in addition to all that, remember we said about 30 days? Well, look at this, 34 days here. Depending on where you draw this, it's, 30. This is where if we come all the way out to 40 days, all this is coming right into where the halving is. Now, there's a possibility here that we actually just ignore this pattern and this becomes something that actually breaks down and we create a sideways chop zone that then is going to decide the direction. Ultimately, at some point, the direction is going to be up, up, and away. The question is going to be about these whale games. Where is there going to be hedging? Is there going to be selling off? We can't know. All we can do is stack our probabilities. Here on the daily, we still have positive money flow on the BitLab trading stack. We see that the VWAP came down bounced, so we do have a little bit of a hesitation here, and this is evident also with the price action coming down. But the volume has also sort of trickled off here while people are waiting on some convicted move to push it one way or another. So let's be a little patient here. Now, coming back over here, remember, I shared this. I'm starting to see everybody share it, and it's not because they're copying me. It's because other people are noticing these patterns as well. This is very bullish in terms of the altcoins that we're looking at. This is the index of all the altcoins out there minus Ethereum. So it's total market cap minus Bitcoin and Ethereum. And the way you get this is you just click on your chart and start typing TOTAL3, total 3, and you come over here to crypto, see total 3 right here. That's how you do it. You can do this with any asset. If you're on TradingView, just click, say you want to bring up NVIDIA, NVDA, just start typing. If you want to change the time frame, again, click on your chart, say you want 3 hour, you press 3 and then do H. Boom, now you're on the 3 hour time frame. Giving you the tips and tricks here, baby. Now, this is what we're looking at. Flat level of resistance, rising level of support. If this pattern holds, this is suggesting a bullish continuation to the upside for the alt market. What so many people are waiting on is that almost feeling excessive, explosive growth to the upside. If you're ready for that, I know I am. Hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, ding the bell so you get notified when we're going live. I am ready for that. Now, in the event that this does break down from here, it means it's going to be some time yet before those altcoins really start to take off. So let's just pay attention to that. Now, let's go ahead and look over here at Cardano because it has been suffering a little bit against Toncoin and against Solana and against all the, but what we're seeing here, let's make this naked. This looked a little bearish already. We cannot ignore the fact that we did have a bit of a head and shoulders here. If we take a measurement from this and take it to that neckline, this is suggesting we could get Cardano down here at 43 cents. Now, do I think it's going to go down to 43 cents? It could. I think if the market as a whole has that larger pullback, if Bitcoin has that big sell-off, if we go beyond that 20% sell-off on pre-halving, that is possible. And we have to acknowledge this because the price action has broken down from this level right here and come back up and has currently tested it. And we drew this a couple days ago. And look at this, came right back up in here to this zone, almost to the dot. Rising level of resistance here. We have this level here that we talked about. And this came up, rejected here. And look, the wick up to this zone. So both levels we marked out hit. But the fact that this hit and is coming down, if we do lose this line on Cardano, signaling we may likely be coming down to retest this level at 56. And if we lose that, then this is kind of trying to give us confirmation that we're likely coming much lower here into the low 50s, potentially high 40s. I don't know if we're going to get all the way down here. I think it'd be front run by buying power. But on the same event, if we're able to hold this region on Cardano, we're able to hold this region, maybe a little wick, and we can take out this crux right here, this intersection of this line and this horizontal line here, and come up. If we could take this out, then the next target's going to be this line here, which is going to be basically 65 cents to 65 to 67 cents, depending on the time frame that it takes to get up there. So the market's doing everything it can to make things uncertain right now because the market is going to explode. And when it does it, it's going to do it fiercely. Tomorrow is a big decision point as to the indication of what direction markets in general are going. The risk narrative is going. So let's go ahead and look over here at Ethereum because Ethereum did kind of break out a little bit here on the Ethereum to Bitcoin, the Ethereum to Bitcoin pairing. Push up, sell off here, launched above, but still no conviction yet to really move up here. Now, if we do see this little shoulder here and this head here, if this does form a little bit of a shoulder here, maybe Ethereum's time is coming to start running or performing better than Bitcoin. If we look at this against the US dollar, we have this level that we have marked out for some time. And look at where price action came down to, pushed up, got rejected at this level. And very similar that we saw on the ETH Bitcoin pairing, we have a bit of a shoulder, a big head. Are we forming a shoulder now? We don't know, but we can look to it potentially happening. And if this does round out and we start pushing up, then we have a signal that we may be getting a pretty large move on Ethereum soon that would send Ethereum up here to about $4,200, breaking these previous all-time highs if we hit this target. But this is a forecast about what could happen. We cannot count that as a guarantee. As it stands right now, all we have is an impulse to the upside and a sell-off. It's going to be telegraphed to us about what the intention is here if this rounds out and starts pushing up, or if this loses this level and tells us we're coming back to test this 3,200 and potentially losing this and moving further down. The things are feeling tight and wound up right now, and it might be frustrating that you don't know what direction it's going to go. We know that there's going to be a catalyst tomorrow with that CPI data, and based on how the market takes it, we could see the start of a washout that comes into the halving. If it's a positive indication tomorrow, we may see the pressure valve sort of taken off and allow the markets to start pushing to the upside. Let's go ahead and look at MATIC as well. We DCA'd into some MATIC this weekend. Now look at this. Come in right to a trend line there. See that? Right into a trend line, rejection down. Now, negative money flow through here. We got a flip of positive money flow right here. We got the impulse up, and we can see we want this to stay positive if we're having hope for a continuation of the upside. If we get a flip back negative on the money flow, then we may have some trouble here because it's already coming into a zone right here. If we lose this level, we may be retesting down here at 86. And if we lose that, we've seen here, look, stair step, fall, retrace, fall, retrace. Is the next level going to be a move down here into the mid 70s? Are we going to get this? Do you all think we're going to get this opportunity for Polygon down here at 76, 78 cents? It would kind of suck, right? Well, it only sucks if you're not prepared. So I would actually move this into this zone right here, 81 to 83 cents. Why? Because we have this rejection here and this bounce here. This is a level I'd be looking at. I'd like this to hold in this region and bounce above. If this does drop, bounce above 86 cents. If we can hold in this region, we may start building a floor to move to the upside. Again, it's all going to be contended on what the market decides is the bullish or bearish narrative tomorrow with that CPI data. 206 people in the room. Big love to each and every one of you. Let's go ahead and look at Solana. Solana may be having those lower targets. We talked about this when price was over here. We talked about the lower target, 78 and potentially 69. It hit both of those. Came up rejected at, look at this, head and shoulders. Came up rejected at round range lows here. It's retesting this. If we lose this 169 region, I think we're coming down into this 151. If we get the larger pullback on Bitcoin, you're going to see your alts bleed more. Know that. But that also represents that you have an opportunity to buy at some great prices if you've been practicing some of the strategies I've been sharing with you, setting money aside on a weekly basis, knowing how to harvest some profits, and then when this market does drop, you can take advantage of with some dry powder, stacking up into some of those positions you have that you're looking for longer term plays. Near protocol, still in this rising channel. If we lose this zone that we're kind of precariously close to right now, lose this zone, which is 720, the 721 to 722 region, then I think first stop that we'd be looking at is basically 690, 695 region, because we have this rejection and all this chop right in here. So this box gives us a target. This would be a bullish sort of washout, meaning that they're trying to trap bears, come down. If we can launch back from here, great. If we lose this zone, I do think that near may be bleeding quite a bit more, potentially down here to the 634 range. Now, why? We got bounce. We got a rejection here. We have a bounce here. So I'm looking for where I see a confluence of multiple points of price interaction on a level over time. That's how I'm identifying zones. And that's why the zones that I've been identifying have been hitting so consistently, because I'm not just saying, oh, here's a fib. We will do fibs, but we'll also see where is a point in the chart that the price action has both rejected and bounced on in previous history. Now, if we go here and do a fib, option F, if you're on PC, it's Alt F. Now look at this. So now I would adjust my targets here. Look at this. 382 is right in this region. 786. I didn't see this before. 786. This is giving confluence to the levels that we marked out here. Now we also can say we have the golden pocket right in here, and we do have some price interaction here. So we can say, and why do you have so many targets, Kelly? Because you don't throw everything in, especially if you're newer to this. You don't say, I want I'm going to buy everything here. Because what if the price only comes to here and you got no benefit of buying on a dip? If you're layering in and layering out, you have one opportunity here, a little bit better opportunity here, and the best opportunity here. So you can split up your dry powder and you average your entries because you don't know how far this may dip. So we have a couple things lined out on the chart for that. Link giving us even better opportunities. And this was telegraphing it to us right here. Look at this weakness rolling over. And what do we get? My favorite signal in the chart, price action pushing up. And on the breakdown, we have a lower low with all this. See how these are right here? This comes to a lower low followed by a lower high. This was telling us weakness was coming in. Now this has come back down. Are we going to get lower? I think we may get a lower opportunity on Chainlink. So where would I look? I'd look right here. We could draw this, boom, right over here, which is not that much lower. But I do think that we have an opportunity. Let's go a little bit lower from there. So let's see. So you see rejection, 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 support, rejection, 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 some kind of rejection in here, rejection, a little chop in here, a little support in the zone. So these are the two levels I'd be watching primarily on Chainlink, which represents an opportunity that on Chainlink, I think Chainlink's going to do incredible this cycle. I think he's going to blow it out of the water what he did the last cycle. That's a 5% move, 6% move, and this is about a 12% move down here. Now, if we go below that, then it's only gonna be better opportunity. We can do this about right here, option J. So three zones would be 1652. Next level down would be 1547. The next level down would be 1376. If we're able to hold in this region, and the markets don't take a dip, we're able to hold in this region, push up, then we're going to be watching really right here as really the level I'm going to be watching, taking out 1998. Why? Because we have all this chop in here. We have all these rejections in here. This is just a suggested level, right? We also have this rejection right below this. So this box right here, basically 1977 to $20. If we can take this out, I do think that the momentum at this point, if the market is moving this direction, will likely take this to higher targets. Let's look at some of the other stuff. Caspa. I still don't own any Caspa, but we got to look at it. I think this had a very strong early cycle narrative that has been cooling off, similar to TIA. It's been cooling off. You see, huge move, smaller move. But if we lose this level, we may be coming lower down here to 9.6 cents. I'm looking at where all this chop is right in here. See? So this zone. If we're able to hold where we're at now and start moving up, let's go ahead and look, double click on the toolbar here. There we go. Now do a Fibonacci, which is option F. If you're on PC, you can do alt F. Then you click once on the chart, you click twice on the chart. So look at this. This came up and rejected at the golden pocket, came back down. It's hovering around this 382. If we have another move down, I'll be looking for a bounce. If it's not a breakdown of the markets, if it's just a little bit more of a correction here to basically 1275. If we're able to bounce at this region or bounce anywhere we're at here, then the next level that we're looking at on Caspa is 1573, 1550 to 1570, right in here, cents. If we take that out, then I do think that this W formation with a higher low, this is telegraphing us that there is some bullishness here if we can get this price action to test this previous range high right here. If we can clear this, then I think it's going to be, a nice move up to 1684 and then up here to this basically 1880 to 19 cent range. And we can move up and away from there potentially. Dogecoin, how many of you out there are Dogecoin holders? This is going to be one of those things that telegraphs what's happening with the retail market. Okay, this has moved quite nicely. This is not a small move. Coming all the way up here, that's a 100. Let me just ask you, would you be okay with a 174% move? I see so many people out there go, how come Dogecoin hadn't moved yet? Well, step back and look at the mirror, my friend. You made some shitty decisions about when to buy and sell. When you're looking at coins and you say, why hadn't it moved? You're saying, oh, it moved before, I'm going to jump on the bandwagon, and now I'm mad that it's not moving with me at this moment. Sometimes if you miss this impulse, and then you have a consolidation, this doesn't mean the market's it's dead. Oh my, let's stop crying and whining about projects when the market is not here to make you money. The market is here. Know this. Let me come back onto this main screen. The market is not here for you to make money. The market is designed to eat you alive. It is a battleground. If you are trading in the same market as me, if you're trading in the same market as your father, people are in this market for themselves to make money. I am in this for myself to make money. Now, given I'm here on the BitLab Academy, I want to teach you how to ride this market and look for the signs and signals that you can make money for yourself in this market. Knowing that this market is a beast is the number one thing you need to really drive yourself into profits in this market, because it is not forgiving. It is not happy. It is something that is designed to shake you out emotionally. So stop jumping into green candles and jumping out on red candles. Look for market moves and the setups before they happen, and educate yourself so you understand these points of confluence so that you can make smart moves in this market. Because I want you all to succeed. But when I press buy and when I press sell, I don't do it thinking of you. I do it thinking of my portfolio. And when the minute you realize that about every person in this market, even when people argue about manipulation from whales, no, that is absolute bogus. Whales are in this to make money just like you are. They may have a bigger impact on price, but at the end of the day, they're not in it to be nice. They're in it to figure out how they can grow their capital returns in this market. So let's all acknowledge that we do have an opportunity to make money in this market, but it's once you realize that this market is designed to eat people alive that don't have a strategy. So, got to get real there for a second. So, let's get it, baby. Dogecoin. Back to the stuff. Push up, sell off, found support. Push up, sell off, found some support. When this starts getting to ripping, I do think that this is going to have, and think about the potential news with Dogecoin in terms of the X payment platform integration. I really can't see a very few scenarios that Elon Musk does not integrate Doge to that X platform. And I believe, if I'm not mistaken, the X platform, X payments, when launch, I believe it's going to happen sometime this summer. Set to launch in 2024. So this could be a major catalyst for Dogecoin when it does happen. And it will also, people on the periphery of this market don't realize that Bitcoin is not expensive. They say, I'm getting into crypto. Bitcoin's 70,000. I can't afford that. I'm going to get Dogecoin, or I'm going to get, one of these coins that have a smaller price, because they don't understand price doesn't mean shit. Price is just a data point as a reflection of how many coins are. Something went wrong. Report issue. Reconnect. Hopefully everything's good. Price is just a reflection of the token supply and the tradable value. The moment we understand the market caps and the circulating supply, you realize, for instance, Camelot is something that, let me just point this out. Camelot is a token that they pointed out on the Discover Crypto show today. Camelot. There we go. Camelot token. Boom. Let's look at this. 1,600. Does that mean it's expensive? Well, let's go down. Look at token supply. Oh, wow. There's only 73,000 total tokens once they're all out in circulation. Is there some issue with my... Can you guys all hear me? Give me a 1 in chat if you can still see me and hear me. I think there may be an issue with the computer, but it's okay. But you see, this price is a reflection of so few tokens. And so there's a higher price. But the market cap is only 30 million. See this? So we need to understand that this doesn't make this expensive, because we're not looking at the price. We're looking at the market cap, the total supply, and where this can go over time. So that's all I just wanted to point out there. It looks like we're having some issues with the internet, but that's all good. Everybody hit that like button, hit the subscribe button, ding the bell. I love you guys. I got some really great things that we're going to be offering here for all you BitLab folks. So I do appreciate you. Make sure you hit the like button and join us here. Join as a member here on the BitLab YouTube. We're going to be doing some, all those premium member streams you'll have access to if you're a member here on YouTube. So, and also, of course, if you're in the BitLab Discord. But we got a huge deal coming up for everybody. We got to celebrate this Bitcoin halving. I love you guys. I appreciate you. Adios, muchachos. Adios, muchachos. Thank you for coming. Thank you for always tuning in.